Good morning. We're in Itu, São Paulo, Brazil, and I'm with Richard Beck. We're here at Crescimento Limpo, a halfway house for residents who have left behind the use of drug and alcohol.
I'm going to take a tour of the place and hear about all the great things that are going on inside.
Come on with us.
So Mark, I was going to ask about just where the vision for the house came from. Like, what were the beginnings of it?
In the beginning, we started doing lunches with friends who were in the street, just basically inviting anyone who's in the streets of Itu to come over and have lunch with us. And that developed little by little. The first development was we decided instead of doing this for these friends, actually Larry James with City Square said, you need to figure out how you need them and can rely on them to help you if you want to see this grow. And so we decided, okay, well then let's stop cooking and doing lunch for them. And basically we had 1 week where we said, okay, this has been great, we've enjoyed it, but we're not going to do this for you guys anymore, but we'd like to do it with you. And so from next week on, we're going to wait for you to come and then you to start cooking. And then together we're going to do this lunch if you want to do that. And from then it just developed. It became more of a partnership with our friends. They started asking for help to get into rehab clinics. We started finding connections and getting them into rehab. As they started getting out of rehab, we realized they really didn't have anywhere to go. And so they ended up dropping back into the streets, back into addiction. And that really bothered me. And I started praying and searching for how could we help with that phase. And on a prayer walk in the neighborhood, I found a house that was abandoned, and through many friends, through our church, we were able to acquire 3 small houses and start offering housing for people who are coming out of addiction, coming out of rehab. And that's grown until now. We've been doing housing since 2011. We grew out of that location, and then we're able to get into this downtown home where we can receive 25 men and women and families.
Yeah, I love how this started around a family table and how eating together in this room that we're sitting in right now is a huge part of the family life here in the house.
Yeah.
When I was visiting earlier in the week, I was struck by how those that have work go out during the day, but those that are behind, even if they know how to cook, quickly learn how to cook for the family when they kind of come back at the end of the day.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
And a lot of them cook really well, and as any family, you also learn grace.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
There's grace for the learning process.
Yeah. So as a capacity, you said about 25 spaces or rooms?
Yeah,
23?
Yeah, we have, in the entrance here, we have 4 rooms. Each room we put 4 individuals each. And then in the back here we have 3 other little apartment living space and bathroom. So we have our women's apartment, and then another 2 that are for men right now. Based on who comes, we might separate one for a family as we've done before.
Yeah. And initially, a big need for people were dealing with substance abuse. So a journey towards sobriety is a big part of what happens here. But it's not the only part. This is also a space where people are dealing with other sorts of issues as well, right?
Sure, yeah. We've received out of an orphanage, an individual that didn't have family support, had turned 18. We've received from hospitals. We've received from prison. So not everyone who comes, it's just a addiction background. And the most important thing that we do here is just help people understand how to live differently. You know, many individuals who come, they've never seen a family structure that was healthy. They've never lived in an environment that taught them good practices. And so here, our monitors are mentors. You know, they're in this position because they were already wanting to serve. They were already serving in different ways on a volunteer basis. And then they came alongside us as mentors, as individuals
friends. So you do have a mental health professional that is providing services for the entire house. Yeah,
she's been really, really helpful. We went through a phase where we had a psychology intern, and then we didn't have anyone providing psychology services for a while. And in that gap, we realized, man, this is something that's really important, and it's it's a lack that we were feeling. So when she came on, she was our first full-time psychologist and has made a world of difference. It's been neat to see individuals that when they first come into the house, they're a little bit afraid of that. She's not pushy and she kind of lets them warm up with time, and then those individuals end up asking for her accompaniment and makes a big difference for them.
Mm-hmm. Hey, so talk to me a little bit about how somebody, you mentioned the garden, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but talk a little bit about how the journey begins here and kind of how the assessment goes, and then how you assess fit for the community as they come in.
So here at NE2, most of the social workers know about Crescimento Limpo. We get referrals from a number of different directions, and any day someone can come in, walk into Crescimento Limpo, and ask to sit down with one of our monitors and start the process about being a resident of Crescimento Limpo. If the person is on drugs, since it's shared and close living spaces, our first step is helping them get into drug rehab to get their addiction under control. And then once that's not the main issue, then we will help them come in and live with us in the house. A piece of that is often coming and working alongside us at the garden. The idea on that, sometimes when you just sit down in an office and talk one-on-one, it can be real theoretical, and it can be difficult to kind of get into the nuts and bolts of who are you and what are you looking for and how do we really help you. And we found that sometimes the best way to get at that is just working shoulder to shoulder with the person. And so that was the idea behind starting our garden as a place where we can say, you're wanting to start a new life? Great, let's work together. Let's spend some time, sweat together, and talk about life, and that way we kind of get a feel for who this person is and what they really want.
If they're going to really invest in the community and begin that journey.
That's right.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the garden. It is an amazing place. It introduced me to the world of aquaponics. I'm particularly interested in its relationship as kind of a workspace or a laboratory of work and shared labor in connection to the journey that people are beginning here. So what's the connection between the garden work and the house?
Well, what do you say we go there?
Yeah.
And we can talk about it on location.
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Thanks. We're in Horta Crescimento Limpo, or the Crescimento Limpo Garden. Crescimento Limpo, by the way, means clean growth. And so it's originally because of the recovery process, and then it just made a lot of sense also that we have a garden and work with kind of the clean growth of man and plants, and one kind of involved with the other. We started this garden in May of last year. There was just a big open lot here full of trash and weeds, and I found the owner and I said, I'd really like to use this as a garden to inspire recovery. And he said, it's yours, use it. And he put it available to us free of charge. And ever since then, we've been developing this garden.
And there's two gardens here. One's a conventional garden that I'm looking at right over there.
Yeah, there is over here. There's our garden of raised beds. And then parallel to that, we've been building this aquaponics garden. And basically the idea of aquaponics, it's a lot like hydroponics where you drip in nutrients, but instead we work with fish. So there's two big 5,000 liter fish tanks here, and the waste from the fish feeds the plants, and then the plants take out the filth and ammonia to give the water back fresh for the fish. The idea is in a small space in the city you can produce a lot more food based on the working together of this ecosystem, and it grows a lot faster, it grows closer together. You don't deal with weeds, you don't need the agrotoxins that is used so commonly in regular gardening. Right now we're in the process of getting our levels right of enough fish to produce enough waste to feed the plants in our grow beds. And our grow beds come this way. This last week in Camp Roots, we actually worked with our campers to finish these grow beds, to make all these holes to put in the pots. And you see this is just full of about 800 of these little cups with stones that we put a little seedling in, and then it grows into plant life.
And where does all the food get used? How do you use the food that's raised here?
The garden is advertised in the city, so neighbors come every day, and so far we're able to sell whatever we can produce.
And a part of that is, when you had mentioned before about how healing the society that kind of made us sick, is that contact between the men at the halfway house, working here at the garden, selling vegetables, and the community coming in, rehabilitates their opinion of people that had kind of seen as disposable or discardable.
For us, it's just a therapeutic situation when our guys can work in the garden, produce really good vegetables, and then have people from around the neighborhood coming and showing that they appreciate that through their purchase and take that to their homes. On both ends is saying you're valuable, and that makes a difference.
And you're going to start housing, you hope, some meals out here for homeless people too.
That's right. In addition to the garden, we built this kitchen area. And in this kitchen, we've already had one big event. We're planning on doing breakfasts here as well. And the idea of having our meals here is that, and having it early in the day, is if you want to continue on with us and work today, then stay with us, work during the day. If you want to volunteer with us, you'll eat with us as well. And that can be a kickstart for someone's recovery process to help them realize that, okay, I think I can do this, I trust these people, I can get a little bit deeper in my life working with them.
Yeah, so in the middle of the city, it's a very beautiful and non-threatening space where you can cultivate relationships, but also kind of rehabilitate your kind of a life of work, working alongside some people that are very supportive.
Yeah,
that's great. Hey, tell me a little bit about the artwork on the outside. Beautiful artwork just that decorates the community.
Yeah, last year the main mural that we have was done in cooperation with Paul Lada, a local artist, and our kids at Camp Roots. They came here as one of their causes and worked every day on creating this mural, and that was a way of bringing them into Crescimento Limpo, helping them understand a little bit about recovery and the importance of caring for your neighbor. And then we also had a friend, Rolando Diaz, a Cuban artist, that did the corner mural and provided a good opportunity also just to bring in some friends from local businesses and explain more of who Crescimento Limpo is and let them know we need your help. We need partners to support this action.
One of the other industries that kind of grew out of the house and the garden is Chance Clothing.
Right.
But that clothing line also feeding back funds and support for the community. So tell us about Chance Clothing, its origins, how it connects to all of this.
It started as Chance Bags. Ali, as we were thinking through ways that we could help Crescimento Limpo to be sustainable, one thing that we thought about was making bags. And initially, we actually brought football jerseys or basketball jerseys, different American jerseys to Brazil, made bags out of them because it just gave a different look, a different flair. It's called Chance because it's the same in both languages, and the slogan is, give someone a chance to change. And now Bruno runs this Chance brand. He makes men and women's clothing, bags, all sorts of things. He just did a really big fashion show for his new line in conjunction with a basketball game that we did. But he's done a really good job, and on a monthly basis from that provides support to help us carry this work forward as well.
Yeah, that's the thing that's really impressed me about all of these pieces is how they all work kind of together toward a common mission. So you have this gardening, it's connected to a halfway house, and then, and then the entrepreneurial things that are growing out of that, from the chair making that's going to start to the Chance Clothing. I just think it's an amazing collection of intersecting ministries and efforts, for a common goal.
Yeah. We often talk about community, but then we often do things really separate. And I think the kingdom, it makes sense that it would involve an interconnected community. It's natural that we should be talking to one another and using our different talents to go in the same direction and to serve the same purpose, which is to love God and love others.
Mark, listen, thank you so much for the tour. I just can't say how impressed I've been with this ministry. I've looked for and visited amongst lots of different places, and I've never seen the vibrant community, the connection between gardening and reaching out to people on the streets and how all that works together. I just think it's an amazing ministry.
Well, thank you also for coming, and you were a really good influence on our team. Anytime you want to come back to Brazil, we really enjoy having you here.
Most definitely.
So thank you, Richard.
Thank you.